Guys, welcome back to the channel. The paper we are solving today is IGCSE Physics, October-November 2023, and this is a paper 23 MCQ format. Now, first question: how many quantities are scalars? We know that mass is scalar, density is scalar, energy is scalar, momentum is a vector quantity. So 3 is the answer. Answer should be C. Now, train is on a straight track. The graph Y shows how quantity Y varies with time. Here they're not telling us what y is. It might be acceleration, it might be distance, it might be velocity. Let's see. The train is stationary and y represents the distance from the last station. See, if the train is stationary, then y should not be increasing and y is representing some distance. So this statement is correct. No issues here. The train is moving and y represents the distance. Now just think about it. If the train is moving and y represents the distance, then y must be increasing because the train is moving, so the distance must increase. Statement 2 is incorrect. The train is stationary and y represents the speed of the train. The train is stationary and y represents the speed of the train. Just think about it. Y has some value here, let's say it is 4. And if it is speed, it must be moving. Think about it. So statement 3 is incorrect. 2 and 3 are incorrect. The train is moving and y represents the speed of a train. This is correct. Speed is there, and if speed is there, it should be moving. So 1 and 4 are the correct answers. Now, the diagram shows speed time graph, alright. Which description of the object's motion is correct? Is it decreasing acceleration? Now, as we can clearly see here that the speed is increasing, but we can say that the rate at which speed was increasing earlier is decreasing now. The rate is decreasing. See, earlier there was a steeper slope, now the slope is decreasing. Right, so you can say deceleration is there, so decreasing speed is there. It's a very simple question. Just look at the gradient of speed time graph is decreasing, means deceleration is there, or you can mention decreasing speed. The mass of the air hitting the blades of a wind turbine each second is this much and the speed is this much. We have to find out the volume of air each second. See, we know that density is equals to mass over volume, then mass volume will be equals to mass over density, and they're asking you per unit second. Mass is also given per unit second, so you just need to substitute 1.5 into 10 to the power 4 divided by density is 1.2. No conversion of units required here. The answer you will get is 13,000. Then they're asking you kinetic energy each second, so kinetic energy will be the half into mass into velocity square, which will be 16 into the mass that you will take is 1.5 into 10 to the power 4. Now, if you solve this in the calculator, your answer will come out to be 120000. So the answer is B. Now, fifth question. An object is moving in a circle at constant speed. Whenever you hear this thing that moving in a circle at constant speed, it should be clear in your mind that they might be asking something related to centripetal force. And centripetal force is the force which acts towards center of the circle, and it keeps the object moving in the center of circle. The planets are revolving around the sun in a nearly circular motion. Why is that? Because the gravitational force is acting as a centripetal force there. All right. So a force away from the center, no. In the direction of motion, no. Towards the center of the circle keeps the object moving in the circle, yes. And then this is saying no force is needed. This is wrong. A uniform rod rests on a pivot at its center. The rod is attached to the pivot. Forces are then applied. All right. You have to figure out which one is in equilibrium. So for equilibrium, we just need to take into account that anti-clockwise moment of force should be equals to clockwise moment of force. Right. Now, I think most of you will be confused with option B and A. So we will decide between B and A first. Baad mein. Then let's first discuss C and D. Why C and D are wrong? See, the direction of C is clockwise and this is also clockwise. So this is not equilibrium. Here you only have clockwise moment, and here this is clockwise, this one is anti-clockwise. So it will not cancel out. You can do the maths. Now, regarding option A and B, in option A, this is anti-clockwise and this is clockwise. Also in option B, this is clockwise and this is anti-clockwise. Now we are confused. It's exactly the same thing. Both are equal and both are in the opposite direction. So why A is the correct answer? Why B is not the correct answer? Just think about it. If you're applying forces like this, then the platform will fly away. Think about it. That is why B is the incorrect answer. A is the correct answer. Now, a car of mass is traveling, all right. Which impulse is needed to accelerate the car? So, change of velocity is given here. We know that impulse is equals to mv minus mu. Take mass common, v minus u. What is mass? 1200. What is v? 10. U is 5. So, 1200 times 5. You know the answer? 6000. Unit will be Newton second. Impulse also has the unit of Newton seconds. Now, question number 8, a mouse bounces up and down on the steel string. So they're just asking at which point is the least energy in the gravitational. So let's look at the table only. Least gravitational potential energy. So least gravitational potential energy will be where it will have the least height, and least height will be present where? Think about it. At the lowest point. So we have to pick between option C and D. Now, most elastic energy stored in the spring. Now just think about it. The most expanded spring is, the more expanded the spring is, more elastic potential energy it will have. Because greater the extension, greater the elastic potential energy. And the most highest greater extension it will have at the lowest point. So answer is D. Now a boy uses a rope to pull an object up a slope. So let's say this is your slope. Look at the triangle here. I'm an artist. The rope is parallel to the slope. The tension in the rope is constant and the value of force is F. Alright. And it is parallel. So let's say F is you're applying parallel. The object moves a distance D. So the object is moving this distance D. Height is H. They're asking you what is the work done. We know that work done is equals to force into the distance moved or displacement, right? Distance moved. Force into distance moved. What is the distance that the boy is moving? Is it H or is it D? I think it is D. So force into D is the answer. Ninth answer is A. A microwave oven is rated 900 watts. Which statement correctly describes the meaning of this value? Now see, we know that power is equals to energy over time, and we have studied this that power's unit is watt and energy's unit is joules and time unit is seconds. So when we are saying 100 watt, it clearly means 100 joules of energy in 100 seconds, right? Sorry, not 100 seconds, 100 joules of energy in 1 second. Then only it will come out to be 100 watts. So in the same way, when 900 watts is written, it means 900 joules of energy is passing through every 1 second. So you know the answer. Answer is A. An object is immersed into a liquid of density rho. The pressure at the depth is rho. Pressure at the depth is P. The gravitational field strength is G. We know that the pressure inside liquid is rho into G into H. This symbol is called as rho. Now they've rearranged it, so H will be equals to P over rho G. So P over rho G, answer should be C. Next question. A sealed bottle of constant volume contains air. The air in the bottle is heated by the sun. Now just think about it. If it is heated by the sun, means the temperature is increasing. And we know that temperature is directly proportional to the kinetic energy. And kinetic energy is speed. So it should be out of option C and D. Now, average distance between air particles. Now, if this was not a sealed container where constant volume was mentioned, then your answer should have been that the distance is also increasing. But in this case, they have mentioned constant volume is there, so the distance 13. In an experiment to investigate the relationship between the volume of a sample of air and its pressure, the volume of the sample is decreased and its pressure is measured continuously. We know that when pressure is decreased, volume will increase. When volume is decreased, pressure will increase. They're mentioning here that curve X on the graph shows the result that would be expected. So these are the expected results when temperature is kept constant. Alright. Then curve Y shows the results that are obtained. So it's just like that in the graph, X is the ideal expectation. It should be like this. But in reality, we obtained the graph Y. In the question, they're asking you which row describes two possible reasons why the graphs are different. We expected it to be a curve like X, but it is Y. Alright, now if you look here carefully, there's a difference between X and Y. The pressure at Y is low. Now just think about it. We know that temperature is directly proportional to pressure. If pressure at Y is low, it means the temperature must be low as well. So in option A, they're saying temperature increases, incorrect, incorrect. In B also they're saying increases, incorrect. So we have to decide between option C and D. They've written the same thing here. Now let's look at the second table, second point of view. Air leaks into the container as the volume is decreased. In option C, they're saying air leaks into the container. Just think about it. Now, if more molecules, more particles of air are getting into the container, then the pressure will increase because the mass of container is fixed and air is leaking into the container. So more particles will be there, more collision will be there, more pressure will be there. But in our graph, pressure is decreasing. So this is incorrect. Option D will be the correct answer. Alright, now question number 14. A student splashes water onto a surface. Here are the three statements about the effects. The water uses energy to evaporate. It is correct. Evaporation is a surface phenomena where the molecules have more energy than they are able to escape. The water gains energy from the student. This is also correct. And the face of the student cools. This is also correct because we know that evaporation causes cooling. You must have felt it when you are sweating and when you get under the fan or under the AC, you feel way colder than the normal conditions, right? So P, Q, and R is the answer, option D. Four containers each contain water. More water at the same temperature is added. So they're saying now we are adding more water. From which container does the water now evaporate more quickly? So more slowly, sorry, they're saying more slowly. Now this has something to do with the surface area. The more surface area you have, faster evaporation there will be, and the less surface area you have, less evaporation there will be. Now if you look at option A will stay the same. You have water here, then let's say you increase the volume water here. The surface area is the same. In option D also, whatever amount of water you add, the surface area throughout stays the same. In terms of the ability to escape, the surface area is the same. It's not increasing or decreasing. Now in option B, the surface area is decreasing even more. Now there is more space if you're increasing the volume. So option C should be the correct answer. Now, this is again a good question. A lot of children are confused with these kind of questions. Just hear me out carefully. A cupboard is placed in front of a heater. Air can move through a gap under the cupboard. So they're saying air can move. They're not saying left or right. That we have to decide. We have to apply the physics. Which row describes the temperature and direction of movement of air in the gap? Now just think about it. If the heater is here, means this air will get hotter. The temperature of this air will increase. So this air will go upwards like this. Right? Then if this air is going upwards, then this region will be low pressure region because the air present here is going upwards, so little molecules will be left here. So then the air from here will enter this cupboard like this, and now you can get an idea how convection current will work here. The hotter air goes up, then recycled here, then it again goes through the cupboard, below the cupboard, then again it gets hotter, then the cycle. So air temperature will be warm. Wait, what are they asking? Which row describes the temperature and direction of the movement of air in the gap? So in the gap, warm air will not be there. In the gap, cold air will be there because it is coming towards the heater. And the air direction will be towards the heater. So option B. Alright, now question 17. Light diffracts when it enters a telescope. This causes the image to blur slightly. Alright, we know that greater the diffraction there is, more diffraction, so more blurry image we get. Alright, and we know that diffraction increases because of higher wavelength and less diameter. A lot of children do not understand this question. I'll explain it to you. See, the amount of the diffraction depends on the diameter of the hole, and we know this wavelength पे भी depend करते हैं. It also depends upon wavelength. Which combination for diameter and wavelength will result in sharpest image? Now, some students end up answering this in response to diffraction. They just answer that higher wavelength and less diameter should be there for most diffraction. This is correct. But do we need most diffraction or do we need least diffraction? We need a sharp image. So we need less diffraction. And for less diffraction, wavelength should be less and diameter should be high. So answer should be B. I'm repeating again. This question is opposite of diffraction. From diffraction, you get a blurry image, widespread blurry image. But if you want a sharp image, less blurred, that will be done using least diffraction. And least diffraction happens when wavelength is very small, diameter is very high. So that is why option B is correct. Now, question 18, the diagram shows a transverse wave. Which row identifies the amplitude? We know that amplitude is the displacement from mean position. So, amplitude is this, and wavelength is the distance between crest to crest and trough to trough. So, option S. S is the wavelength. So, option will be P and S, which is option number B. Question number 19. The diagram shows effect of prism on light, right? White light. We know that when white light passes through a prism, it breaks into different colors because they have different wavelength, wavelength. All right. Some light is reflected on striking, and some is refracted, and some is dispersed. All right. What happens if a monochromatic light? Monochromatic light is a light of single color or single wavelength, you can say. Now, if only single color is there, it won't get dispersed. How will it break into more colors if it contains only one single color? So the answer should be D. Now, question number 20. The diagram shows a ray of light incident on a plane mirror. The angle between the ray and mirror is 35 degrees. The ray is reflected by the mirror. What is the angle of reflection? Oh, come on. It's a very simple question. How are they asking these questions to us? We know that angle of incidence is the same as angle of reflection, and this is angle of incidence 35 degrees. So angle of reflection will be also 35 degrees. And we will write the answer as A. Right? This is incorrect. Why? Because this is not angle of incidence. We measure the angle of incidence from the normal. So angle of incidence is 65 degrees, not 65. Rest in peace maths. 55 degrees. And the angle of reflection will also be 55 degrees. All right. So just let me know in the comment section who all said that answer will be 35. It's not 35, it is 55. So the answer should be 55. The angle is measured from the normal. A thin converging lens in a camera produces a real image. Real image is inverted, right? So it should be upside down. A and B is out already. This is erect image. If A and B are forming image, then this is erect. And at which position is the image of the top of the object formed? We clearly know that the image should be, see, this is the principal focus, right? This is the principal focus. We have done a lot of questions where the lens is like this and the light goes like this and light goes like this. They meet here. So the light is passing from principal focus. It cannot be formed here. Look at option D. Option D is representing this point. It's not possible. Answer should be C. Light is traveling through air. It strikes a glass block at an angle of incidence 45 degrees. All right. So light is traveling through air. You're going from air to glass. What is the angle of reflection? Now, I will solve this using Snell's law. It's a little bit lengthier, but it is more accurate. A lot of students make mistakes in using this formula, n is equals to sine I by sine r. So in place of this, I will be using Snell's law, which is n1 sine I is equals to n2 sine r. Now n1 is the medium one, which is air. Air's refractive index is 1 only. What is the angle of incidence? It is sine 45 degrees. What is the refractive index of the second medium, which is glass? It is 1.4, and sine r you are trying to find out. So sine r will be equals to sine 45 over 1.4. Just make sure to do the sine inverse of it and you will get the angle of reflection. You get the maths. Option should be B. Alright, you just need to do 745 over 1 by 4 and sine inverse of all of it. Now, which row gives approximate values for speed of sound? In metals, the sound is nearly 5000, water nearly liquid in 1500, and air 340. So 4500, 1500, 350. Answer is A. Question number 24. Which metal can be attracted by magnet? So magnetic materials are there: iron, cobalt. So iron you can use. Question 25. The diagram shows an electric circuit, direction of current flow, electron flow. Now see, this is positive, this is negative. The direction of electron flow is from negative to the positive side. And this looks like anti-clockwise. Now, the quantity measured by ammeter. See, we know that ammeter measures current, and current is charge per unit time, right? So, charge passing each point in the circuit per unit time. Answer should be A. Do not write B. B is just saying total charge. It measures charge with respect to time. Which substance both contain large concentration of free electrons, and we know that metals contain free electrons. Which option should it be? Aluminum and glass. Glass is not a non-metal. Copper and water. Water is not a metal. Copper and nylon. Nylon is not a metal. Silver and gold. Yes. Question number 27. A resistance wire of length L melts and has to be replaced with a wire of same material and same resistance. So you want same resistance. The only wire available has twice the diameter. So now see, we know that resistance is directly proportional to length, inversely proportional to area, right? Now we want the same resistance, and for area they have decreased the diameter. Now just think about it. Area is pi r square, and in times of diameter it is pi d square by 4, right? Now just think about it. They are doing the area by 4. By decreasing the diameter to half, the area is by 4 now, right? Now if the area is by 4, you want to make the length as 4L. Alright, I think you get the ratio logic here. Area is pi d square by 4 now. In order to get the same resistance, the length should be increased then. Length should be 4L now. Alright, because the area they have decreased by 4. A teacher wishes to show the production of electrostatic charges. She holds a rod and rubs it with cotton cloth. These are the materials available. Now see, just think about it. For static electricity, you need non-metals because metals are conductors. A static charge does not develop on metals. So copper rod, no. Glass and plastic rod, yes. Plastic and copper rod, no. Plastic and steel rod, no. Metals cannot show electrostatic charges because they are conductors. Charges won't stay there statically. Static charge means the charges are there for some time temporarily. But metals are conductors. They allow charge to flow. Static is not possible in metals. Alright, that is why the answer is B. Now, question number 29. Two resistors with resistance R1 and R2 are used as potential divider. Which relationship? Now, in this, you can do it multiple ways. We know that this is just a series circuit, and V is equals to IR. In a series circuit, I is constant. So we can say V is directly proportional to R. So V1 over V2 is equals to R1 over R2, right? Answer is D. Is equals to R1 over R2 is your answer, which is option number D. Now, let's start with the question number 30. The diagram shows a light dependent resistor connected in a potential divider circuit. The brightness of the light falling on NDR is increased. Now again they're asking what happens to resistance and voltmeter. Now this is not a difficult question. There are difficult questions for LDR and thermistor, but this is not one of them. I'll tell you why. See, it's a very simple one. When light intensity is increased, we know that resistance decreases. You need to remember this. There is concept behind this as well, but just for now, just remember that light intensity increases, the resistance decreases in the thermistor or the LDR. In this case, it is light intensity, so that is LDR. So now just think about it. If the resistance is decreasing, all right, and we know that V is equals to I into R, and this is just a series circuit. These two are in series, right? So in series circuit, current is constant. So V is equals to I into R. We know that I is constant. So V directly proportional to R. Now if you're saying resistance is decreasing, V must also decrease. So resistance of LDR decreased and the voltmeter also reading decreased. Answer is A. Question number 31. A simple AC generator has a coil, alright. What happens to the peak EMF and frequency? So they are just asking you that when you are rotating the coil faster, now just think about it. When you are rotating the coil faster, the frequency will be greater as well as more field lines will be cutting through in less time. So answer will be A. Peak EMF will be high and frequency will be high as well. Alright. Now, a current passes along a wire placed between the poles of a permanent magnet. The wire experiences a force. We know that because current is passing through it and magnetic field is there. Whenever these two interact, there is intersection of magnetic field. Magnetic field lines cut through each other. So force is developed. All right. Now what they are asking is what will change the direction of this force? Now these kind of questions are done using Fleming's rule, and we know that there is force, there is magnetic field, and there is current. Now, if you want to change the direction of force, if you want to change the direction of force, you can change the direction of current, right? In the options, have they mentioned reverse the direction of magnetic field? I don't think so. You could have done anything, you could have changed the direction of magnetic field as well, but in the options, it's not there. So you can change the direction of current, which will flip the force direction. And just give it a try using Fleming's law. I think you should be able to do it. But still, in case, just let me know. I will explain the concept in another video. So if you want to change the direction of force, just change that current. Because in options, they are asking that you can reverse the current. So that is why option B will be the correct one. Reversing the current. Now, question number 33. What is a transformer used for? Transformer increases or decreases the current or the voltage. So the answer should be B. Now, question number 34. It's a simple question, but I think most of you will make mistakes here. Just think about it carefully. The scattering of, I do not hope that you make mistakes, but a lot of students make mistakes here. The scattering of alpha particles by thin gold foil provides, all right. Two alpha particles are there, all right. They're just asking us which diagram shows the correct paths followed by alpha particles as they pass close to the nucleus. Okay, when they're passing close to the nucleus. Now just think about it. The closer it is to the nucleus, the more deviation there will be. Right? Now if you look at option C, this is more closer to the nucleus, but there is less deviation here and more deviation here. What kind of logic is this? Option C is wrong. Now, in option B, this is clearly showing attraction. There is no attraction. Alpha particle is positive, nucleus is positive. So option D is incorrect. Option B is incorrect. Option D as well, they're showing attraction. Incorrect. Why option A is correct? Because just think about it. This one is closer. So this one should experience more repulsion. And it is experiencing more repulsion according to the path shown. And the one which is a little bit far away, it is experiencing less repulsion. So option A is correct. Now, question number 35. The half-life of carbon is 5700 years. So if there was X amount, in order to convert to X by 2, it will take 5700 years. An object containing carbon 14 has a count rate of this much when it is first formed. The graph shows how the count rate decreases over time. Which point on the graph corresponds to 11,400 years? So it's just like second half-life. In the first half-life, 5700, second half-life 11,400. Now just think about it. We are starting from 100. The first half-life should be 50. So it should be here. At point B, you must have done 5700 years. Right? Now, in order to do second half-life, the 50 should decrease to 25. And 25 is here. Right? And which point is it corresponding to? It is corresponding to D. So your answer is D. Two half-lives will result into 11,400 years. Question number 36. Why are beta particles deflected more strongly? Alpha particles have neutrons as well as protons. They are heavier. They have more momentum. This is why. Now, beta particles have less mass. This is correct. Beta particles are negatively charged. There is no reason. Alpha particle is positive, and in the electric field, positive, negative both are there. So there should not be a difference based on the charge. There will be a difference based on momentum, but no difference based on charge. Beta particles have lower velocities than alpha particles. How do we know? Beta particles have more ionizing power than alpha particles. It doesn't matter. Momentum matters. So answer should be A. Which statement describes how nuclear energy is released by fission? Now we know that fission is when a highly unstable large nuclei splits. So option B should be correct. Option A is telling you atoms join together to make molecules. This is your 6th grade chemistry. We are not there, so option A is wrong. Light nuclei join together to form heavier nuclei. This is nuclear fusion. Fusion does not take place on Earth. Molecules break down into atoms. No. Question number 38. This is a good question, and it's just a question mentioning that there are three stars X, Y, and Z. Not three stars, three planets X, Y, and Z, and they're rotating in clockwise direction. Then they're mentioning that the time relations are there. So it is saying time for one orbit of Y is taking 3 times than X. So if X was taking 1 minute, Y is taking 3 minutes. So Y is lazy. Then Z is taking twice the time taken by Y. So Z is taking twice the time taken by Y, and we know that Y is lazy. Y is taking 3 times time of X. So 2 times 3 times time of X. So it's just that Y is taking 3 times time of X, and Z is even lazier. Z is taking 6 times time of X. So it clearly means that X is the fastest, and then Y, then Z. So X is the fastest, then Y, then Z. And from here we can say that when X completes one revolution, when X completes one revolution, Y has completed only 1/3 of it because it is taking 3 times the time, right? And when X completes one revolution, Z has completed only 1/6 of it. It requires little bit maths, but I think you should be able to do this. Tz is equals to 6 times Tx, means if X was taking 1 minute, Tz is taking 6 minutes. So even lazier, even slow. So now you need to pick an option when X completes one revolution, Y has completed only 1/3, and Z has completed only 1/6. So X has completed one revolution, it is shown here, alright. Now if you look at option A, in option A, Z is faster than Y. It is, see, this is clockwise motion. They have given in the question, clockwise motion should be there. So option A is telling you that Z is faster than Y. Is it true? No. Now in option B, Y is a little bit ahead and Z is a little bit far behind, and X has completed the revolution. This looks correct. We can consider this. Now in option C, it is saying that again Z is faster. How is that possible? Z has covered more. It's not possible. Option D, there is a very large difference. Y has covered this much and Z has covered this much. But you need to understand Y has covered only nearly 33% of it, right? And does 33% mean this much revolution? Does 33% means this much? I don't think so. So answer should be B. Now, question number 39. The nearest star to the Earth is about 4 light years away. We know that 4 light years away means the light from that particular planet will take 4 years. All right. A student makes 3 statements. You have to figure out which one is correct. Light from the star takes about 4 years. This is correct. Light from the sun takes about 4 years to travel to the star and back to the Earth. Do we know the distance between them? I don't think so. Answer is wrong. This is wrong. We cannot tell. The star is outside our galaxy. How do we know? So answer is only C. Now, a planet orbits the sun with orbital period t. The average radius is this much. So we know that orbital speed is equal to 2 pi r by 9. Right? So option should be B. The correct answer should be B. Alright. We are done with the questions. Now, in case you have doubt in any of the questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section. In the next video, we will be solving a theory paper. It will be of physics or chem. You'll see.